clone troopers thunder down the hallway, punching in the pin cone to Maul's holding cell. The cell opens with a mechanical hiss, revealing the full body of the Dark Lord. The clones move to enter the cell, guns raised, weary of the former Sith. In a surprise attack, Ahsoka sneaks up behind the troopers, slicing them in half before approaching Maul, holding her saber to his throat. "Don't make me regret this," she says. Have you ever wondered what would have happened if Ahsoka and Rex had confronted Anakin Skywalker on Mustafar? Well, if so, then you are in for an absolute treat, because that's what we'll be exploring today. So grab your big bowl of bantha stew, cuddle up with your pet Tauntaun, and let's dive right into what if Ahsoka and Captain Rex had confronted Anakin Skywalker on Mustafar. Ahsoka Tano locks eyes with Maul. The two look at each other, and it is clear what Ahsoka has to do. Taking a big gamble, the Jedi frees Maul from his holding cell. "You felt it too. The shift in the Force," inquires Maul. Ahsoka nods in confirmation. "We need to team up if we're going to get off this ship." "What do you say?" proposes Maul. Ahsoka nods. "I agree, but Anakin is my responsibility," she says. Maul nods in agreement. "There is one thing I need to do before we escape," adds Ahsoka. "Whatever you need, former Jedi," Maul sneers, smirking. Ahsoka and Maul sneak through the Venator, sneaking past and silently killing guards in search of R7-A7. After some searching, Ahsoka and Maul locate the droid, pulling up the info on Fives and using Anakin's passcode. She's looking for information as to the location of Captain Rex, and after some searching, she finds the necessary information to rescue the captain from the inhibitor chips. Maul and Ahsoka once again sneak their way through the Venator, this time with the company of the newly acquired droid. "Would that code also happen to find information on Darth Sidious?" whispers Maul. "I hadn't even considered that," Ahsoka replies. "It's worth a shot either way," she continues. The three of them reach Rex and hurriedly knock him unconscious before removing his inhibitor chip, freeing him from the grip of that cursed abomination. Following up on Maul's previous inquiry, R7-A7 pulls up information on the CIS leadership located at Mustafar, where Darth Vader would be dispatched to finish business with the leaders. Ahsoka and Maul are concerned due to just how vague that information that they had retrieved was, although they push these thoughts to the back of their mind as they make their way to the hangar to prepare for a fight to get to a transport. "You and Rex go and escape. I will stay behind and secure the way for you," Maul offers. Ahsoka is hesitant at first, but she quickly senses that Maul will make a good distraction to allow for herself and Rex to make a break for it. She nods. "Thank you," she says. Maul simply cackles. "You'll be dead soon anyway, and I have other business to attend to." Maul then goes and begins the fight, creating a scene like he does in that final arc of the Clone Wars, where he doesn't need a lightsaber to look like a badass. Ahsoka and Rex take this opportunity to make their escape, sprinting towards the transport and mowing down any guards that get in their way. However, Ahsoka is insistent that they not kill any of the clones, because they are their brothers. Ahsoka, Rex, and R7-A7 escape, making their way to Mustafar before Anakin arrives, ready to confront him. Ahsoka and Rex blast through hyperspace, preparing for the worst. Ahsoka stares off into the distance, her mind racing with concern as she sits down to try and meditate. Has her master fully gone to the dark side? She fidgets before burying her face in her hands and craning her neck backwards. Rex tries to comfort her, but she brushes him off. The two reach Mustafar and are greeted by a squadron of vulture droids in orbit of the Separatist planet. Both hail the Separatist leaders below, notifying them that Darth Vader wasn't coming to reward them, but, in fact, was coming to execute them. This news shakes the Separatist leaders, particularly Newt Gunray, who stands in shock looking at Ahsoka and Rex. It's evident to them now that Sidious had betrayed them, even though he is initially hesitant because Ahsoka and Rex are both Republic partisans. Their insistence that they listen to him and their risks in taking to come to Mustafar prove to him that something was wrong. The Separatist leaders allow the two onto the planet as they await Anakin's arrival. Rex decides then to speak to them. "We require you to provide any information that you have on Darth Sidious." Then they comply. Rex continues, "We also urge you to play the part until Vader appears if you wish to survive. Do not let them know that you know what's going on." The leaders nervously and hesitantly abide by this request. "We will do as you say," says Newt Gunray, nodding his head to Rex. They're fearful and untrusting of the Jedi plans. And will they truly comply? The Separatists had been treacherous in the past, especially this bunch of corporate leaders. However, Ahsoka and Rex have no choice but to trust them. As this is all going on, Maul continues to fight his way through the Venator, chopping and slicing guards with doors and the Force with ease. He fights his way to the bridge, his true intent becoming clear. The ship was on course for Coruscant, and Maul would make full use of that opportunity to do whatever damage he could to Sidious, no matter what the collateral was. He smiles as he continues fighting his way to the bridge, knowing that soon he would use this Venator as a battering ram against the Senate building, and hopefully crush Sidious once and for all. Upon reaching the bridge, Maul ends up sending the Venator on a new collision course towards the building, just as the Senate hearing with Palpatine is concluded. The Venator emerges in hyperspace above, and everybody is shocked to see it as it barrels towards the grounds of Coruscant. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda are concluding their business at the Jedi Temple when this attack transpires, and they see the Venator in the sky above and sense Maul. The two hear an explosion. "What was that?" inquires Kenobi with panic in his voice. "Investigate immediately. We must," replies Yoda, his tone matching the seriousness of Kenobi's. The two rush out of the temple, and they see columns of smoke erupting from the Senate building as blasts from the Venator rain down upon that building. A deep groan slices through the air as the Venator-class tribunal comes down from the sky and crashes with the Senate building, cracking it through the middle. The sky fills with black smoke from this attack as Yoda and Kenobi look at each other in horror before rushing into the building to investigate further and assist in any possible casualties. Meanwhile, Sidious orders a super tactical droid to prepare a Jedi ETA-2 for his new apprentice, Darth Vader, to travel to Mustafar and kill the Separatists. Anakin makes his way to Mustafar, his objectives clear. Upon arrival, he exits his ship from hyperspace and begins to head to the Separatist base. "R2, stay with the ship," he demands. Anakin arrives at the Separatist base, hooded, ominous, and filled with hatred in his eyes. Menacingly, he thunders down the corridor, stopping to be greeted by the Separatist leaders. "Welcome, Lord Vader. We've been expecting you," announces Newt Gunray. Anakin uses the Force to close each door one by one before drawing his lightsaber and preparing to slay the Separatists. Fear fills the Separatists' eyes. Where are the Jedi? Where was Ahsoka? Where is Rex? Do they really die here at the blade of Anakin Skywalker? The door is lifted, and suddenly a voice can be heard bellowing through the room. "Anakin, what do you think you're doing?" Ahsoka inquires. The young former Jedi and Captain Rex enter the room. The Separatists scurry out, fleeing the scene as Anakin turns his attention to his two former comrades. "What are you doing here?" hollers Anakin. "Don't you go answering my question with a question, Master," demands Ahsoka, asserting herself. Anakin is shocked and impressed by her confidence, and he fails to respond. "So it was true. You're working for Sidious," continues Ahsoka, audibly disappointed in her master. "Maul was right after all." "Why?" she says, a tear starting to roll down her cheek. "It's for Padme. You of all people should know that. I'm doing this for her," Anakin says. I won't let her die. But Sidious is evil. You must know that he isn't the way to saving her, Ahsoka replies. He wants to take the galaxy and turn it into his twisted image. Anakin swiftly replies, the way that I see it, the Jedi are evil. You aren't going to stop me from saving her. Nobody will. Now stand down, Ahsoka. I don't want to kill you. Anakin, I won't let you destroy yourself in this way, Ahsoka counters. Then I will do what I must, Anakin responds firmly before igniting his saber once again and launching an attack on Ahsoka and Rex. Anakin strikes towards Rex, trying to send a message to Ahsoka without wanting to hurt her. Anakin, shouts Rex, dodging and firing a stun shot. The captain continues, you know Sidious isn't going to help you. He's using you, just like he used all of us clones in his sick plot. Anakin takes little notice of Rex's attempt at reasoning as he advances towards him, consumed by rage. Rex backs down the corridor and fires more stun shots as he goes. Ahsoka tries to reason with him. Anakin, we can help you. Please just talk to us. Anakin disregards Ahsoka, repelling her back down the corridor with the Force as he continues to fight with Rex. Meanwhile, Kenobi and Yoda arrive at the foot of the smoldering Senate building. The attack had gone entirely as planned and decimated the building, sending it up in a plume of smoke. Advancing further in hopes to rescue survivors and investigate, the two elegantly mow down what remains of the Coruscant guard who are hunting them. As they approach, Kenobi spots the bloodied and slashed face of Maul in the wreckage of the Venator, covered from head to toe in soot, obviously present during this attack as he had sensed. And furthering his surprise, he was in combat with none other than Darth Sidious, the Dark Lord that they had been looking for so long, Chancellor Palpatine. The two dark side users engage in battle, exchanging blows and slashes in a swift sequence of flashes of red light. The true Jedi watch as the Sith battle for the fate of the galaxy in a masterful display of raw skill. Sensing an opportunity to kill both of them and end this dark tyranny for good, Kenobi and Yoda end up joining the fray. The two Sith and dark side users are shocked to see the Jedi joining the fight, but they do not falter. Quickly, the battle splits into two separate brawls. Kenobi singles out Maul, knowing that he would be better to confront him than Yoda, and also knowing that they had a history together, repelling the Sith and quickly launching an overhead slash in an offensive move against him. Maul swiftly parries and goes in for an attack of his own, singeing Kenobi's thigh. The two battle up to the top of the burning wreck of the Tribunal, with Maul dominating the battlefield. In a swift combination of hits and stabs, Maul throws Kenobi off balance, sending him plummeting into the fiery pit of the burning Senate building below, laughing as he could finally have his revenge on Kenobi. Maul laughs with glee. It was almost too easy defeating the Jedi, as he is consumed by his dark emotions. Meanwhile, Sidious takes on Yoda, launching slashes at the Jedi, which Yoda dodges with extreme agility, especially for somebody of his age. The two battle skillfully, exchanging blows in an articulate display of attacks. Out of the smoke, Maul emerges. Now, Yoda is outnumbered 2-1, and surely he is at a disadvantage. Or is he? Back on Mustafar, the battle has turned in Anakin's favor. He's simply too strong in the Force for Rex and Ahsoka to contend with. He's also too consumed by his dark emotions. In a swift sequence of jabs, Anakin knocks down Ahsoka at the edge of a cliff. He pins Rex against the wall with his Force repel. I have become more powerful than any Jedi has ever dreamed, boasts Anakin. He continues, Ahsoka, can't you see? I've brought order to the galaxy. I'm going to save Padme. Join me, and together we can be more powerful than either of us have ever thought possible, and we can be free of the shackles of the corruption of the Jedi Order. You should know that better than anyone else. Can't you see that Sidious is using you? Ahsoka starts. Look at Rex. I'm not asking, Ahsoka. Join me, Anakin responds. I don't want to have to kill you. Ahsoka responds simply with, I'm not going to let Sidious use you like this. She grunts, pushing upwards with her saber, kicking back Anakin, readying her twin blades, ready to duel. Vader moves in for the kill, stabbing towards Ahsoka with his blue lightsaber. She realizes that her torso is open to attack and doesn't have time to react. She prepares for death. But she doesn't die there. Instead of feeling the heat of the lightsaber, she feels a shove pushing her to the ground. It's Rex. She raises her head on all fours to see Rex be impaled by Anakin's saber. In shock as she looks at her friend, no, her brother, soon to be dead, Rex lets out a groan before uttering, "Ahsoka, bring Sidious to justice. It's been an honor," he says, saluting her one last time before his eyes go dark, the life leaving him and the rest of his presence in the Force fading out from Ahsoka's consciousness. He raises his hand in salute, and Anakin retracts his blade, sending him plummeting backwards into the lava below. Anakin watches as his friend descends to his death, still saluting to the Republic and to Ahsoka, even as his life is ending. In that moment, Anakin is suddenly overcome with emotions as Rex dies at his hand. He falls to his knees and stares off into space, seeing that Rex had been loyal and committed to him, and Ahsoka even willing to risk his life for her, and he still hadn't wanted to kill him. Anakin had killed a brother, and he must come to terms with what he has done. He stands to face Ahsoka. She backs away, drawing her blade in anticipation. Anakin looks at her, his yellow eyes no more back to their original sky blue color. He drops his lightsaber to the ground, deactivating it. "What have I done?" he says, his voice filled with deep pain. Ahsoka stares in horror at Anakin, disgusted by what she's just witnessed. "I went to the dark side to save the ones that I love, and look where it's got me," Anakin mutters. "Rex is dead, my brother. He was my friend." Anakin weeps. Ahsoka withdraws her saber and clambers to her feet. She places a hand on Anakin's shoulder. "This is what I've been warning you of, Anakin," she explains. "I'm a monster. I killed younglings. They're dead. Every last one of them," he cries. "Anakin," Ahsoka says, trying to comfort him, but at a loss for words. "Anakin, this truly isn't over until either Sidious is dead or he takes control of the galaxy. It's up to us now to decide that fate. You can't blame yourself. You were manipulated, used, just like all of us were. We were pawns in his game. You can't give up. The fate of the galaxy depends on you, the chosen one, Anakin. Sidious did this. He's responsible for this, and I know that the Anakin Skywalker, the real Anakin, won't give up. You've always been a great Jedi and a great mentor. Vader, that's not you. You're an even greater man. And while you might not be able to atone for your actions, you can try your best to make things better, to compensate. Some people might never forgive you, Anakin, but you can do the right thing now. I promise you that," she says. "Ahsoka," Anakin cries, "what have I done? Rex, he would want us to bring order to the galaxy and bring Sidious to justice because he loved the Republic." Ahsoka continues. "Come on, Anakin. Please, the galaxy needs you. Rex needs you." Ahsoka looks him directly in the eyes. "And I need you," she says, offering her hand to Anakin. He nods and takes her hand. "I'm so sorry," he says, trying hard to fight this guilt as the two walk back to Ahsoka and Rex's ship and head towards Coruscant, ready to confront Sidious. As this is going on, Maul and Sidious stand facing Yoda, who prepares for their attacks. Sidious uses Sith lightning on Yoda, who blocks it with his blade. The two dark side users cackle as the Jedi struggles to contend with the power of Sidious's attack. He's growing weak, and soon will have to accept his death. Then, though, the unexpected happens. Kenobi rises from the ashes of the smoldering ruin of the Senate building, his skin charred and his clothes burnt, but his resolve stronger than ever before. He has the element of surprise on Maul, who is still confronting Yoda and enjoying in the Jedi's death. He plunges his saber through the Sith's back. Yoda and Sidious stare at the smoldering Jedi in awe of how he had kept himself alive. Although their numbers are now up and Maul is now dead, the Jedi are both weakened and entering a stalemate with Sidious. They battle valiantly, but it is clear that they are both continuing to diminish in strength and can't last much longer. In the meantime, Anakin and Ahsoka arrive above Coruscant and enter the atmosphere without detection. "Is that a Venator?" Anakin comments, surprised, looking at the smoldering Senate building. "That must be Sidious's doing," he says. They land outside, seeing the action unfold, both concerned by the weakened state of Yoda and Obi-Wan. They watch as Yoda is knocked to the ground by Sidious, and Obi-Wan is already unconscious with serious burns. The Sith Lord senses Anakin's return in that moment, and he immediately turns his attention towards Anakin and Ahsoka. Both of them enter the fray, and Anakin once again ignites his lightsaber. "I won't be used by you anymore, Sidious," he says. "I'm tired of playing your game. And you... This is for Rex," Anakin says. He charges towards Sidious and taps into his anger against Palpatine for forcing him to hurt and kill the ones that he cared most about. Ahsoka is knocked to the ground as Anakin lands the final blow against Sidious, slicing him across the chest. Palpatine merely laughs. "Good. Use your anger. Embrace the Sith." Anakin drives the saber deeper into Sidious, killing him once and for all. Then Anakin, Yoda, and Ahsoka look at one another, nodding their heads. "Good to see you again, it is," Yoda says. "Clear that you are not Sidious's pawn anymore." "It is." Yoda nods. Anakin then looks towards Obi-Wan. "Let's get him to safety," he says. Yoda nods in agreement, and the three Force users then go towards Kenobi and bring him to the Jedi Infirmary for treatment. With Sidious's death and the attacks on his security council by Maul, there's nothing stopping an investigation into Order 66 from the remaining members of the Senate, who have now been saved by the valiant efforts of the remaining Coruscant Guard. Ahsoka presents the evidence that she had collected from CIS leaders to the remaining senators, showing that Sidious had been playing both sides of the war, and indicts Palpatine in starting the conflict. Order 66 is rescinded, and the clones are called back to Coruscant to protect the capital from any further possible attacks. Since the CIS leaders were not captured, but do not have a Sith Lord leading them or a general to fight for them anymore in Grievous, peace talks between the Separatists and the Republic can begin. Mon Mothma is instated as Supreme Chancellor, and she is able to negotiate a deal with the Separatists, effectively ending the war. Anakin, after his attack, is sentenced to time in prison for committing genocide against the Jedi. But the Senate hears him out, especially after he testifies against Palpatine, and his sentence is reduced. Padme gives birth to the twins without complications, but she has a difficult time reconciling with Anakin, especially now that he's in prison, after learning he killed younglings. However, she's seen the good in him. She knows that he is a changed man, and eventually she's willing to forgive him. He's given parole after many years of good behavior and joins his family on Naboo, seeing his young kids starting to blossom. Rex is buried on Naboo, serving as a constant reminder to Anakin of his friend's sacrifice and his need to remain inside the light, never again giving in to those dark emotions and need for further power. He's not allowed to rejoin the new Jedi Order that's being rebuilt, but he does train his children in the light side of the Force. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka lead this new Jedi Order, while Yoda retires and spends his days at various Jedi temples, reflecting on his failure to see the error of his ways and the errors of the Jedi Order. All three of them frequently visit Anakin's family, helping them train the children to ensure Anakin does not return to the darkness. While the Sith are now dead, and the clones clean up the Outer Rim from the crime families which are now disorganized with the death of Maul, there is lasting peace that is beginning to blossom in the galaxy.